Okay. Thank you so much. In keeping with the theme, we're going to talk about collecting street level imagery, specifically mapillary imagery. I am Sean Whitcomb. My username is mycota, and I'll be speaking with Harold, who is hobbesvsboyle. Um, so just a quick disclosure, both of us received a free camera from OpenStreetMap US and Mapillary as part of the Mapillary camera grant program last year. And we also received some small monetary awards for contributing to the Complete the Map project, which was a big thing to try to get a lot more mapillary imagery on the map.
Yeah, hi, I'm Harold. And yeah, I'll say a little bit more about the grant program in case some of you are interested in that. So this is a partnership between OpenStreetMap US and Mapillary, and the way it works is you fill out a online application form where you say a little bit about yourself, your contributions to OpenStreetMap, if you've contributed to Mapillary before, and what you intend to do with the imagery, where you intend to collect imagery. Pretty quick application. And if you are selected for the grant program, then you receive a box in the mail, and that box has a 360-degree GoPro Max, I think now GoPro Max 2 camera in it, and a bunch of accessories to like mount it to your car, to your bike, to your whatever, to your canoe. Maybe we talked about water-based mapping earlier. And yeah, then you go out and collect data. There's no firm obligation that you have to collect at least whatever this many thousand images or something. But since we are among other mapping and street level imagery collection nerds, the 35 grant recipients in this latest round, as of last week, apparently collected 4.89 million images and covered 17,360 kilometers of roads, paths, sidewalks in the US. So that's pretty cool. The grant program is still open, and we'll share a link probably in the Slack channel later. And yeah, so why do you want to collect street level imagery? Maybe this is an obvious thing for people who attend this talk, but really it can enable rapid improvement of OpenStreetMap data in a very efficient way. With just one picture and then the next picture, the next picture, you can capture so much. This is just an example of one of the images I took in downtown Madison. And the red boxes, I added those just to highlight some things. So going from left to right, like you see there's a restaurant and has a sign in the window that says that that's permanently closed. You have a couple of trash and recycling bins. You have a traffic light. You have a bench where you can determine whether it has a backrest or not. You have some trees where you can maybe determine what kind of tree this is. There's a do not enter sign, a speed limit, curb cut. We talked about pedestrian mapping. There's tactile paving. And so all of this you can capture in this image, which is much better than like relying on your own memory or having to stop, taking notes, taking sketches. So yeah, it has really boosted my own mapping.
So how do you actually do this? The easiest way to start, especially if you don't have some kind of fancy GPS enabled camera, you can just do it straight from your smartphone. There's a Mapillary app for iOS and for Android. You can just go open up the app and then walk around, drive around. As long as you got a clear image of what's in front of you, the app works really well and just immediately puts it into the Mapillary site. But what we've done since we have the GoPro cameras, uh, depending on whether you're biking, walking, or driving, you're going to want to take either time-lapse photos, those are a little bit slower, or video if you're driving because the frame rate is a lot faster and you're not going to miss as many things. The camera already has GPS in it, so it knows exactly where you're located. And then once you have all of the images or the video on your camera, you just basically take out the SD card, put it in your computer, and then there's a desktop app or a command line interface, or you can just go right onto the Mapillary website and directly upload there. So it really couldn't be easier. And then Mapillary does all the post processing, so they're going to blur out faces, they're going to blur out license plates and all of that stuff. And like we mentioned, you can do this while you're biking, which is what Harold and I have done a lot of. You can do it while you're walking. You can do it while you're driving. You're canoeing, whatever. And it's not just for streets. It really is for trails. It's for rivers. Any place you might want to capture imagery.
Yeah, I'll talk just a little bit more about what Sean already mentioned with biking. I don't have a car, so I either have to walk or I guess I could canoe too. But yeah, most of my imagery collection is by bike. So you see me with my dorky googly eye helmet, and Sean is on the right there. Couple things to note with that. We found that attaching the camera to the helmet works best. You only see a little bit of your helmet, but it gives you a nice 360 unobstructed view. Took me a while to find the right kind of helmet that worked with the camera. It's important to keep in mind, speaking of the season, in winter, you don't have a whole lot of daylight to work with, and you really do want to have a decent amount of daylight to capture clean, crisp imagery that's then really usable. You see that I have the camera mounted with the two lenses facing side to side. That's because usually what you're interested in mapping is to your side and not right in front and right behind you. That's where the road surface is. So that's useful because that's where where the camera produces the best images. And as Sean mentioned, there's this question of like, do you take time-lapse photos or do you take continuous video? On the bike, I'm taking time-lapse photos because I find the image quality a little bit better, but there's limitations like it only takes an image every 2 seconds. And on a bike, that's usually fine at bike speeds, but in a car, you couldn't do that. Yeah, so if you have any questions about like the gory technical details of all of this, we'll also share some links to some resources to that. But yeah, feel free to use the Q&A for that. One example I want to show here is an example of bike infrastructure in Madison. If you haven't heard, Madison is a very bike-friendly city, and we're still getting new bike infrastructure built. And I find that's quite hard to add to OpenStreetMap if you don't have it on aerial imagery. And that aerial imagery takes like usually a year or sometimes 2 years until it shows up. And I found having the street level imagery really makes that much easier. So you see here, this was a conversion of a road that used to be 2 lanes in each direction to a protected bike lane, one car road and a car lane. And then in the background, you can kind of see in the shade, there's also bus rapid transit platform. And you see on the left, now that's all been nicely mapped, partly by me, but also once the imagery is available, other people can use it as well. And yeah, it's a really good way to improve this detailed bike infrastructure, pedestrian infrastructure, and transit infrastructure that Sean is quickly going to talk about.
Yeah, so I was also able to get some new bike infrastructure in Tempe, Arizona, but there's also plenty of other things you can map. So we recently got a new light rail extension in Phoenix, and it opened in June, shortly after I got my GoPro camera. And so I headed over there, was on the very first train of that new light rail extension, and I was able to map every single platform and stop location all along the way well before there's any imagery. That's probably not going to come out again for a year or two. And I was even able to get this on the map before it was on Google Maps. I had this fully mapped within about 2 days of riding on that, just using Mapillary imagery and being able to figure out the locations of all the stops and everything along the way. There's still plenty to map. You know, you can map benches, you can map garbage cans, you can map drinking fountains and all of that based on the Mapillary imagery that I captured.
Yeah, and we're going to end the talk to just briefly talk about. So this is specifically the OpenStreetMap / Mapillary Camera Grant Program. So Mapillary supports this program. They have been supporters of OpenStreetMap for a long time. They've been around since 2013. It is important to note, though, I mean, they are owned by a very large tech corporation since 2020. So the way this works is the images are explicitly available for mapping in OpenStreetMap. They're also under a Creative Commons license. But some people might have concerns about contributing images to that large tech company. There might be concerns related to like, well, what if the AI bubble bursts and tech companies have to cut costs? If Mapillary goes away, what happens with the images? So we do want to mention that there's Panoramax, which is a free open source, very OpenStreetMap aligned street level imagery platform. It's more recent. It's been around for a couple of years. The way it works, it has multiple decentralized instances that then come together and make the imagery available. There are some, so this, we probably have a mostly US audience here. There is no US instance for Panoramax at this point. You are able to upload to the French instance right now, with some limitations in that. But yeah, I mean, what I've been doing is I upload to Mapillary and I upload to Panoramax at the same time, just to have that extra redundancy. And yeah, I also feel much better about supporting a open source, open project. And with that, we have a slide with a couple of resources on there. I'll paste those into the Slack channel because this is, yeah, not that great. But I would encourage everybody, if you're into this, go out, collect imagery, apply for the camera grant. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Harold and Sean.